definition for ourselves around power. And I also want to talk about alchemy. Okay, so let's start with the Akashic Records. Simple working definition of the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are the realm of consciousness that holds all information recorded from a neutral perspective. Neutral means unconditional love and zero judgment. This is God perspective. And is available for each one of us to tap into. This is a information tool. This is a source of intelligence. And we're going to, of course, be using the Akashic Records today as our sacred classroom. The Akashic Records are for downloading information, yes. Now, that seems pretty reasonable, right? If we think about the records hold all information, past, present, all possible futures. Okay, it's an information source. I can go like an encyclopedia and get information. Yes, this is true. What is also true is that we are uploading information. Our experiences and how we respond in situations in our daily life is being uploaded. When you show up in a different way with a level of consciousness and evolution that allows you to be kind and loving and transmute your former patterns of being reactive and triggered, that information is being recorded in the consciousness of the Akash, and it becomes available for everyone. So the work that we're doing counts. It's being uploaded, becoming more available, more accessible for our brothers and sisters here who are also evolving on the planet. Does that make sense? The other thing about the Akash that I want you to know is that it is also constantly evolving and growing. It is an entity of living consciousness. And we're going to experience that. When we go into the records today, I'm going to take you in a different way that's going to allow this realm to be expressed through you rather than a place that you're entering. Okay, that's the Akashic Records. Let's talk about power now. Again, yes, we can feel sometimes hesitant to step into our power because our power has been misused. But can we agree upon power being our ability to affect positive change on the planet? And I want to show you today that there is a point along the process where power becomes a choice. It's a choice for you to take responsibility for what you have created up until this point. That's how we're going to harness and unlock our next level of power, is a more dynamic level of taking responsibility for ourselves. Now I want to talk to you about alchemy. How many of you have studied the 7 stages of alchemy? I'm going to talk to you a high-level overview about these stages today. We're not going to go in specifically to the stages of alchemy, but it's important for you to understand conceptually what alchemy is. Alchemy is the transformation of matter from a corruptible state into a state that is stable, into stability. It is transformation from a base state into a state of highest potentiality. I want you to think about that in terms of yourself symbolically. How you alchemize yourself into your highest potential. I said alchemy was the transformation of matter. I talked to you when we first started about the next step of our evolution is taking this amazing galactic story of all the power and the downloads and the activation that's coming in and say, how do we apply this to our everyday, our 3D life? That's bringing this into a form of matter in a physical density, which is where we're at here on the planet together. We have to learn how to use these cosmic laws. We have to learn how we, as we're experiencing this embodiment and this up level, how do we bring it into a physical plane of reality? What do we do different? How do we show up differently? I told you I wanted you to think with your imagination. I want you to think symbolically too about the transmutation of matter. What happens when you can let go of the low-level trivial crap in your life that you are making matter. You decide, you create the value of matter. Nothing means anything until you assign value to it. You get to decide what matters in your life. And if you are ready to stop unplugging from the triggers and the density and the areas where you are still entangling with distortion in your field, and you are ready to step into a higher command of your own power, your own presence, then you're being invited to take responsibility in this way, to see your patterns and to transmute them and to make different choices in how you show up in your everyday 3D life. Let's talk about traditional expressions of the magician here on the planet. Who has shown up in the archetype of the magician? I'm going to invite you all to light up the chat box here. Share with me where you feel connected to this archetype of the magician, and I'll share with you where I feel connected to this archetype, where I study this archetype. The Order of Melchizedek is a big one. Of course, we've got Merlin, Thoth, Hermes Thrice-Megistus, Jesus, Yeshua, part of the Great White Brotherhood of Magicians, Magdalene, Isis, Saint Germain, all represented the archetype of the magician. The primary role of the magician is to contain and channel the power of good for all, for everyone. Magic looks like magic because it's unexplainable to the naked eye. Okay? Magic looks like magic because we don't understand the mechanisms behind how things work. So these great magicians that I talked about, how did they come to understand the mechanisms of the quantum realm and bring it into the earth plane? Let's talk about characteristics of the magician. The magician was devoted to devoted to knowledge of self. What does that mean? It means they were on a quest to know their thoughts, their emotions, and their behaviors. I want you to ask yourself that question right now. Are you on that quest to know your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors? The magician was devoted to purifying and training their subtle energy bodies. That means their physical body, their mental body, their emotional body. They were devoted to purifying and training in these realms. The question for you, will you take that responsibility? Through this practice, this devotion of self-knowledge and this devotion to training the subtle energy bodies, the magicians were able to access the inner temples of intelligence, the hall of records, where all mysteries were revealed. Do you want this level of access in your life? If you've answered yes to all of these questions, you are ready to activate in the archetype of the magician. Where do these greats go to study, go to train? They go into the hall of records, which is where I'd like to take you now. So transition from some training right now into transmission and experience, going into our records. And I invite you to sit up nice and straight. I'm going to start by adjusting our posture. Feel all four corners of your feet on the floor. Tuck your tailbone and your chin under. Sit up nice and straight to elongate the spine. And I want you to lay your palms up and open in a receptive position, closing your eyes. It's very important that we make a strong connection to Mother Earth. So if you're sitting with your feet on the floor, feel all four corners of your feet connected to the floor. If you're sitting in lotus or crisscross applesauce, feel all four corners of your sit bones connecting to the earth. And let's start by taking a deep breath in through your nose, creating space with this breath. Deep breath in. Gentle pause at the top of the breath. I want to invite you to reflect on yourself as a god, goddess, creator, connected to source. If you can create space, which you just did, identify yourself in this way. Nice slow exhale. You are a channel for source energy. Good. Second, deep breath in, calling light into the body. Deep breath in. Pause, gentle pause, imagining every cell of your body illuminating with rainbow colored light. Holding that, activating. Good. Yes. Nice slow exhale. Radiating this light outward. Feel yourself, see yourself as a being of light. Third, deep breath in, calling your consciousness into the now moment. Deep breath in. Pausing at the top of that breath, letting go of anything that you have shown up to or been thinking about today up until this moment, letting go of everything you still need to show up to later today. Good, and just get present. Exhale. Feel the energy shifting within your body already. Good, turn your awareness inward and imagine the activation of a crystalline tube of light that runs up and down your spine. And take a couple nice deep breaths, clearing out this crystalline tube of light. Good. And to connect with this crystalline tube of light more dynamically, imagine that you can see the facets of this crystalline tube of light. See the sparkles of light. See the color, see the beauty. Yes, tuning in now to any sounds. Do you notice any sounds as your breath moves through this crystalline tube of light? Or how about vibrational frequency? Can you feel the buzz? Can you feel a temperature associated with this crystalline tube of light? Good job. Then can you notice the intelligence, the consciousness of this crystalline tube of light here to support you? Good. Let's take this crystalline tube of light and anchor it into the core of Mother Earth. So with your imagination, with your intention, sending this crystalline tube of light down through your feet, through the crust of Mother Earth, feeling the realm of our ancestors, activating your DNA, traveling down now into the sacred underground roots and medicine of Mother Earth, activating this intelligence within your DNA, traveling down into the sacred crystalline caves of Mother Earth, activating this technology within your DNA, traveling down into the sacred underground waters of Mother Earth, activating this intelligence within your DNA, and dropping deep into the core of Mother Earth, resting here. Connecting with the divine blueprint of potentiality, of Gaia. You may feel energy moving in your cells, activating the remembrance of her highest potential, that which you are a part. But bring the intelligence, the wisdom back up, bring your consciousness back up out of the belly of Mother Earth now, rising up through Mother Earth. Let the consciousness enter the body again, filling up your physical, emotional, mental bodies, light bodies with this energy from Mother Earth, this Christic consciousness energy coming online now as you breathe, bringing this energy into the body. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Good. Focusing on the crystalline tube of light now, this time sending it out the top of your head, all the way up through the atmosphere, breaking through the atmosphere, traveling all the way up, passing the moon, passing the sun, exiting our solar system, exiting the galaxy, traveling very quickly, exiting the universe, exiting the multiverse, traveling up through white light, dark light, rainbow light, Nice deep inhale as we anchor into the Akash, the all that is. Good, nice slow exhale. And just opening up this channel, setting an intention that you're going to acclimate to this high frequency energy once we start running these energies. Good. Okay. Just breathe for a few moments. Here's how the energies we're going to bring them in. Okay. It's very important that we acknowledge the motion of the energies and intelligence as they come in. They will be coming in through the crystalline tube in a spiraling pattern. The energy will be spiraling down from the Akash and spiraling up simultaneously from Mother Earth. And you will notice as these energies move through the dimensions of the time-space continuum and complex that has expressed as your experience, the spiraling of these energies will intertwine in the space of your heart, bringing together the energies of heaven on earth and activating the galactic DNA for you to become full embodiment as your human genome was designed to carry and express the blueprints and energy of heaven on earth, to move that from the etheric realms into a physical realm. Nice deep breaths. Okay, when you're ready, everyone, you can initiate the flow of energy. It's going to be a spiraling energy coming up from Mother Earth and a spiraling energy flowing down from the Akash. Gently initiate that now. See if you can simultaneously bring your awareness to those energies as they begin traveling. Good, and they're meeting in your heart space now, moving through the crystalline tube. And notice they're going to continue to travel. So they're meeting in the heart space, but as the Akashic energy spirals downward and the earth energy spirals upward, notice the intertwining of these spiraling energies. And see if you can notice the double helix of DNA that is being constructed and connected and anchored for you. From the highest realms of galactic source, love, and intelligence, into the core of Mother Gaia. Yes, feel this activation, feel this activate, 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 galactic DNA coming online, activate, 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 activate. Good, feel yourself now fully holding this expression of double helix DNA, galactic DNA, golden DNA intertwined, running through your being and illuminating perfect self-expression and opportunity to create, transmute, manifest, initiate, complete the next phase of evolution. Here. Good, dropping the consciousness from the mind down into the heart. We're going to sound the 5 sacred ohms and open the Akashic Records. Since we have activated the galactic DNA, as I have given the directive to move the consciousness from your mind into your heart, you are indeed activating and accessing intelligence through the galactic mind. I'll ask you to repeat after me. With this Om, I relax my body. And then together we will sound the sacred Om. With this Om, I relax my mind. With this Om, I release my ego. With this Om, I call in the light. With this Om, I open the Akashic Records of Emily Suzanne Harrison. Use your full name. And with this Om, the Akashic Records open as a projection of reality, a matrix all around you, in front of you, behind you, to each side, above, beyond. The Akashic Records now projected through you into this physical reality. The records are now open. Nice deep breaths. Just breathe now as adjustments are further being made. As the galactic DNA activates, there's a lot of shift and light brought into the nervous system. Good. Nobody has take some nice deep breaths and come on back into the sacred classroom here with me. Yes, you're still feeling a lot of energy. It's challenging to come in. But this is a great part of the up level, is when we can become trans-dimensional. So come back into the part of your mind that can train with me a little bit more. Because now that we're in the space of our records and we've activated the galactic DNA, I want to talk to you just a little bit more about alchemy and where you get to take responsibility, where we're at in this stage of collective evolution with alchemy, so you can know how to work with this more dynamically. Okay. So there are 7 stages of alchemy. I've studied these in depth. We're not going to go in depth right now. I'm going to do a high-level overview for you. But according to my observation, the first 3 stages of alchemy can happen somewhat spontaneously. But there's a moment of choice between stages 3 and 4. 4 takes us into the higher aspects of the transformation that requires a conscious choice and taking responsibility. So let me outline this for you. Okay. The first 3 stages of alchemy that can happen somewhat spontaneously, you don't have to write this down, but the scientific names for them are calcination is stage 1. There's an explosive energy. There's a catalyst. Something becomes undeniable. Something blows up in your field and it requires attention. Okay, this is calcination, the explosion. Then what happens is the dissolution phase, where there's debris, there's emotion, there's chaos. After the initial ignition, catalyst of the energy, there's chaos, right? This is dissolution. And then we move into phase 3, which is separation. That's where the density falls to the bottom. We've got the neutral space in the middle, the circumstances. My hands are acting out a beaker here for you guys if you're following me in science here, right? We've got the density at the bottom, our repetitive patterns, our triggers. We've got the circumstance. It feels more neutral now. Then we've got the essence, the truth of who we want to be on top. This is separation. This is the phase of evolution, galactic evolution that we're into. This is the moment where we step back and we say, oh yeah, I see my crap at the bottom. I take responsibility for that. I own that. And I'm ready to grow. I want to forgive myself. I want to forgive others. I want to scoop this essence off the top. Make a decision to work with this essence. This is where we move into the higher stages of alchemy, where you take that essence into a new clean lab, a new clean environment. You add gentle heat, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, coagulation. These are the higher stages of alchemy, where you're taking the essence, that truth of who you are, who you want to be. You're excavating yourself. You apply heat, you train, you clear out the impurities, and what happens is this essence turns into vapor. Think rain, moves up into the clouds, it mingles with the heavens, the God energy, the divine. It fills up with this intelligence, and then it comes back down to the earth plane. This is what we're being invited into. This is what we're moving into the next phases. But in order for you to move into these next phases, you must master this phase 3 of separation, where you step back, you look at your density, your triggers, your patterns, what is unresolved in you. You take responsibility for it. I'm in this with you. You want to know what it looks like in my life right now? I'll give you 2 examples of how I'm working with this energy. Anxiety. Having a conversation with my oldest son not long ago about anxiety. This child is brilliant, by the way. He's almost 20 years old. And as he's sharing with me what his experience of anxiety looks like, I'm recognizing, crap, I have that too. I've learned to ignore it. It's become this low-level thing that I just deal with in my life. And, oh, crap, you probably got it from me too, speaking of DNA. And so I began to look at this. And what I found was I complained so much, y'all. I didn't see it as complaining, but I was in the presence of a young man who was helping me do some work. And this time last year, he was in jail. And he's so grateful for food and for work and for everything in his life. And I recognize my own patterns when I'm in his presence. I'm commenting on everything I like and mostly what I don't like and what I would up-level about things. And I began to recognize if these are my thoughts and my actions and what I'm speaking, of course you've got low-level anxiety over everything, Emily. And I made the shift, and within 2 weeks, my low-level anxiety that I've lived with for decades is gone. Another area where I'm working in it. My marriage fell apart, y'all. And there's greater learning and lessons as we're learning and going through this process, my ex and I. But for a long time, I blamed him for his actions. And you know what I'm taking responsibility for? Me being in an overly wounded aspect of my masculine energy that didn't allow his masculine to blossom. I take responsibility for that now. I see that. I'm owning it. And it's allowing me to step into a higher level of my power. So that's the invitation for you next. The ownership of where are you showing up? And you can take a higher level of responsibility for saying, that's my pattern. I'm sorry about that. I want to work on it. I'm going to come work on it. And if you'll do this, when the universe opens up these opportunities for you, you will step in and harness a new level of power. Bring your hands together in prayer pose. Light pressure against the left and right palm. Thumbs touching each other in the heart. Giving thanks for all knowledge and healing that comes forward in this space and acknowledging the frequency of oneness. And with one final Om, closing the Akashic Records. The records are now closed. Go in power, go in peace, go in wisdom, go in love, go in light. Monica Lee, back to you guys. Thank you so much.
Exquisite.
Thank you, Emily.
Wonderful, wonderful, Emily. Thank you.
Yeah, there was so much ease and grace that came through for me with the connections with the crystalline tube out to the galactic DNA. And I loved how you're able to bring us into the issues we face with the galactic energies. And so if you have enjoyed that transformative experience with Emily and want to take your journey further with Emily and the Akash, there are some exquisite offerings. And Emily, if you can just briefly share those with us now.
Absolutely. So this training gives you the opportunity to take responsibility for your karma and turn it into asset, turn it into power that you get to harness moving forward when you find the gift within the womb. This training allows you to not only understand and read your own Akash, but to rewrite, the programs of lack so that you can step into responsibility and the skill that you need to create the life that you want. Whether it's shift in relationship or health or business, you have the power to do this. This process is life transformational. And the training also includes certification. The Akashic Record training also includes certification. I want to be fully transparent with you and let you know that this is a 4-month devotional practice training with me in Akash. And so for those of you who may be wondering if this is really how you want to spend your time, or if this is the right next step for you, I know teacher is so important. You've got to resonate with teacher. What I'd like to invite you into today is the beginner's training. The modules of this training in the Akash that will show you how to